Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Crystal Healer Summit. I'm here with Nicholas Pearson, a crystal author and teacher, and I'm so excited to have you with us today, Nicholas. I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about what you do, what you write about, and how many books you have.
Yeah, so thanks so much, Joe. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm really looking forward to everyone else that's going to be on the summit too. So I absolutely love rocks. I've been a collector since I was really young. That's kind of what got the ball rolling. But these last few years, I've been focusing more and more on teaching and writing. So I've got 6 books out. My 6th one, Crystal Basics, was just released. I got a copy over here for you.
Amazing.
But I've got a handful of others. My first book was The 7 Archetypal Stones, followed by Crystals for Karmic Healing, Crystal Healing for the Heart, Stones of the Goddess, now Crystal Basics. And I also have a book on Reiki called Foundations of Reiki Ryoho.
Yeah, it blows my mind that you have so many books out there. It took me forever to write my first book. So it is pretty amazing. We carry a lot of actually your books.
I see them in the background.
A complete coincidence. Now, as a person who loves crystals and writes about crystals, what are your 3 favorite crystals and why?
Oh, so this is always a tough one. It's like, trying to pick a favorite child. So I picked 3 that I don't get to give as much spotlight to compared to some of my others. So one of my childhood favorites was Calcite. And it's still one that I love quite a lot. So I've got this really beautiful piece that comes from Montana. I've got some red calcite, gets a color from hematite from Morocco. This beautiful kind of aqua colored calcite that comes from Argentina.
Now, I have a question for those who don't know. What is the energetic properties of the calcite family?
Yeah, so calcite is a great mineral. It is a calcium carbonate. Anytime we see a lot of calcium in a mineral's composition, it deals with things like structure, getting the translation from the mental state to the material plane. So this is a good stone for kind of linking where we want to be with where we're headed. It's a great manifestation stone. It's very joyful, especially those really bright, warm colors that we see so frequently in the calcite group. They really kind of inspire us to be more spontaneous and present and in the moment. It's a very playful kind of energy, but it's great when we just kind of feel maybe a little down or a little drained. It kind of gets us going. So really wonderful stone.
Wow. And what are the other 2 types of crystals that are your favorite?
Yeah, so the next one I'm going to show you is some Aquamarine. I have quite the love affair with aqua, so I've got nice little...
So beautiful.
And then some untreated beads of it, therapeutic quality. Aqua is great because it restores the sort of inner light of the soul by helping us release all the stuff that dampens that light. It's great when we feel stuck or stagnant, anything in our life that feels, maybe like it could use a little proverbial grease. It kind of gets things going. It restores us to a state of energetic liquidity. So when things are stuck and solid and really immovable in life, whether that's a mental pattern, maybe something in our physical body, or just something kind of out in the world in general, this is good for kind of fleshing out the old to make space for the light of our soul to shine through.
Amazing. And what is the other crystal that you have of the 3 crystals?
So I picked Garnet for this one. Garnet is one of those stones when I was growing up that I took for granted because I'm a January baby and I was never much impressed by red garnets. By the time I got to university and actually worked in the Mineral Museum, I found out that garnet comes in every color of the rainbow. So I've got some green garnet from Africa, some nice red garnet from India, and then from Mexico, a golden androdite garnet.
What is the chemical composition of garnet? I'm curious because I love it.
It's highly variable. So garnet, rather than being a single mineral, is actually a group of closely related minerals. So you've got some members that are going to be things like manganese and iron rich, others that'll be more calcium rich. So there are, quite a number of different minerals that fall into the garnet family, everything from almandine, pyrope. You have things like rhodolite, which is kind of an intermediary between those 2. You have the androdite species, spessartine garnets, grossulars, which tend to be some of the brightest colored and highly variable in color and composition, and then the uvarovite, which is chromium rich. So garnets have quite a wide range of composition, and therefore they kind of have a wide range of energies. But one thing that is common to them all is they have more or less the same kind of formula. So the same amounts of things inside them, and also the same crystal structure. They're considered to be mesosilicates, so they're like really densely packed islands of silica surrounded by all these heavy metals, and makes them very, very dense. They're also cubic minerals, which are great for grounding. So when we work with the garnet, they get us more present in the moment. They're great for fortifying the physical body. A lot of them deal with kind of our relationship to the material world. So for millennia, people have associated garnets with things like abundance, fertility, attracting wealth. So it's just a great stone when maybe we've got the idea, but we don't know how to implement it. Garnet can help us do that.
Oh, I love it. I love your mind. So my next question is, we get a lot of questions about crystals for energetic protection. And because you're a Reiki practitioner and you work with crystals, what are a few crystals that are really helpful for energetic and spiritual protection?
Yeah, so this is definitely a question I see come up a lot in the crystal world. So the first one I'm going to show us is labradorite. I love labradorite for this because so much of the work that we do in the greater spiritual community is really kind of linked to this idea of oneness, our connection to one another, our connection to source. And when we're really sensitive and open, it makes it really easy for us to take on stuff that might not belong to us. And then it kind of gets us into this weird place of, do I erect a wall? Do I separate myself when separation is the thing that we're trying to overcome? What labradorite does is it helps our light shine so brilliantly that there's no wall necessary. It's more like a selectively permeable membrane. When our light shines brightly enough, other things just can't dampen it. It's almost like, a layer of Teflon for our aura. When we shine brightly enough, when we shine brightly enough, we really don't have to worry about things attaching. And it's this really potent stone for helping us kind of see beyond the surface of things. So we can also be mindful of, I've noticed I feel really drained when I'm in this place or around these people or doing this activity. Maybe I should make some mental changes about this. And then it also helps us kind of navigate through the world in a way that we're not trying to erect a barrier to keep things out. Instead, we're trying to maintain the integrity of our energy field so we can keep that open heart without feeling really drained. Another really good one for protection is rainbow fluorite. Anything in the fluorite species is going to be good for kind of clarifying, stabilizing, strengthening the aura. But the rainbow fluorite in particular is so wonderful because all those bands of color we see kind of come through the bands of our aura to help to remove those little tag-alongs we might get, attachments, thought forms, entities, cosmic dust, whatever it is we might pick up in our everyday world. It can help us kind of sift through all the layers of what makes us up to release the things that we're not. The fluorite's also really good when we just need a little mental stability. Life is stressful, and the more worn down we get, the more vulnerable we are to external energies. So what the fluorite can do is give us the sort of mental tenacity, the discipline to stick through things, the discipline to commit to our spiritual practice. And the more we engage with that, the more we're going to be able to kind of get through a challenging world or challenging time. So I think that's a great one for you as well. And I think another stone that I'd be remiss to not talk about would be shungite. I don't have a piece nearby, but I'm sure we all know shungite. This is such a wonderful stone because protection and grounding go hand in hand, and this is a stone that can help us with both. So for anyone who might not know, shungite is a carbon-rich rock that comes from Karelia, Russia, and it is old, very, very, very old. What makes it unusual is in its composition, there's a type of carbon molecule called a fullerene. They're these little nanotubes and other shapes and sort of complex nets. And prior to analyzing shungite, we didn't actually think it occurred inside the earth. We found it in things like meteorites and fulgurites, and we can make it in a laboratory, but we didn't know there was a terrestrial source of it until we actually dug into the composition of shungite. But this unique kind of network of carbon molecules inside it helps us kind of tap into the network of planet Earth. It's a really wonderful stone for grounding. I know there are so many, really bright, shiny spiritual souls that are out there that don't like to work with those heavy grounding stones, hematite and black tourmaline and
Oh yeah,
other things.
there's a lot of people coming into my classes or even coming to Happy Soul, and they want to be up in the sky 365 days a year. They're all like, they come in with quartz or Herkimer diamonds around their neck, and but they're just so non-grounded, and their everyday life starts to fall apart. And but Shungite, I find, is always really great for bringing them back into their body, bringing them back into present, while maintaining the high vibes that they're looking for. So thank you so much for sharing that information with us. My last kind of question is, what crystal would you recommend for people who experience writer's block?
Oh, so one of my favorites for this is Aquamarine. It's a great stone of inspiration. It's why it's one of my stones I showed you earlier. When I feel like I just need to let my mind open and expand to receive whatever the universe has in store for me, Aqua is one of those that I go to.
Amazing. So thank you so much, Nicholas, for joining us for the Crystal Healers Summit. For those of you who are interested in finding Nicholas out on the interweb or ordering one of his books, there will be a link available in the email that was below this video. Thank you so much, Nicholas, and hopefully we'll be seeing you soon again at Happy Soul.
I look forward to it. Have a great day, Joey, and thanks so much for having me on the summit.
My pleasure.